Fans of Railroad Tycoon who had any prior experience with board games may have noticed a slight resemblance between Sid Meier's creation and the Avalon Hill board game 1830. If you've wondered what kind of computer game 1830 would make, your wait is over, courtesy of Avalon Hill and Simtex. The marriage between these two particular companies is a strange one to say the least. Simtex built its reputation with Master of Orion and Master of Magic, a pair of graphically appealing, complex strategy games. Avalon Hill has found a niche with complex war games that are heavy on gameplay and light on graphic appeal. In this instance, Avalon Hill's style set the tone, and the result is a game that is religiously faithful to the board game. In the board game, you are allowed to get in touch with your inner greedy person, since ruining your competitors financially was just as effective as building a better railroad. That also holds true for the PC version. You begin in 1830 in the stock market. In the opening round, you bid to control private companies that will provide you with additional revenue. Then you move into another round of stock purchases that will allow you to gain control of one of 8 available operating railroads. The stock round is where you determine whether or not you have what it takes to become a true robber baron. Once you gain the majority of shares in a particular railroad, you control it. However, purchasing a minority stake can also prove to be a great idea, since dumping those shares onto the market later in the game can force one of your competitors to start operating a railroad that he doesn't want anything to do with. The value of your shares is based on the frequency of dividend payments and by their demand in the marketplace. If you pay a dividend, the value of a railroad's shares rises. If you don't, they fall. Each time a railroad share is sold, the value falls. If there is no stock available in a railroad at the end of a stock round, the value of the share increases. Thankfully, the operating rounds are a little easier to understand. Each railroad gets a chance to lay new track, build stations, run its trains, and purchase new trains. At the start of the game, players alternate between rounds, but as 1830 progresses, you'll spend more time running your trains and less time making financial decisions. You start the game with trains that can only stop twice on each run, then gradually work your way up to diesels, which can stop as often as you want them to. Your route design is an important part of the game since it determines your revenue. Establishing stations is also a key to doing well, since you can't run a route past a city whose station is controlled by a competing railroad. Avalon Hill has a large stockpile of board games, and it's good to see the company bringing out the better ones in an electronic format. It's even better to see that Avalon Hill is working with such proven developers as Simtex. 1830 isn't a visually stunning product, but it's as good as the board game it's based on, and that's good enough to satisfy most strategy fans.